Hello and welcome to another episode of Hessy and Maven. I'm Justin.
I'm Raven.
And on this week's episodes, nope, just singular. This week's episode, we are going to talk about movies that are so bad, they're good.
Yeah. It's a great category. Everyone has ones that they love.
Everybody has that movie. As soon as I said that, you guys are probably already thinking about a movie that you love, and you're like, this is a great movie. But you fully recognize that, like, it is actually a trash movie.
You know what's a great movie that didn't make my list, but is so bad that it's good?
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels.
Oh, yeah. Tony's going to disagree. I think Tony will think it's just a good movie, plain and simple.
No,
We'll find no flaws, but
I think it does fit the category. You don't like that coffee?
I put almond milk in it.
Oh.
Because the almond milk was in front of the normal cow milk, and I regret everything. It's so plasticky tasting.
I hate almond milk. It's my least favorite of the fake milks.
Really?
Yeah. It goes oat, coconut.
Oh.
Anything else. Almond
at the bottom.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I am such a milk person that, like, the only way I can ever usually use an alternative milk is by, like, when it's mixed with things. Like, when it's, like, in cereal or, I don't know, in coffee sometimes.
Even then, I can tell the difference. Like, I can only eat my cereal with vanilla oat milk. I've tried it with coconut milk. I've tried it with almond milk. Gross. I've tried it with normal milk. Also gross.
Oh,
so it has to be vanilla oat milk.
Yeah.
And almond milk in coffee is too thin.
True. Yeah.
It's much too thin.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't like it. Do you know what I was thinking before?
What were you thinking?
If the dogs were types of pizza,
okay,
I think that Josie would be the floppy Brooklyn style, like where when you hold it up, it's like,
yeah,
because she's so like smushy and like has flaps, and Olive would be like a stout, puffy deep dish.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Do you feel like that?
I do. I feel like that's accurate for both of the dogs.
Yeah.
What about Jessica, though? What would Jessica be? Jessica would be like fucking anchovies on a pizza. Very polarizing.
Yeah. Thin crust. Crisp.
Very thin, crispy crust. Yeah, for sure.
Sharp.
Like
the crust could poke your eye out.
If it wanted to.
Yeah.
if you touched it for too long, it could get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, before we get into our question from the internet and everything else, I just wanted to talk ever so briefly about the World Cup. We've been kind of following it as it's been going on. It's over now,
which is so sad.
The World Cup is over. I'm about to give some spoilers away, so if for some reason you have it DVR'd and you haven't been spoiled by social media, this is your chance to fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
So, the winners of the 2023 Women's World Cup were Spain.
Yay.
And I couldn't be happier for the players.
Yeah.
Let me be really specific. I couldn't be happier for the players. Love them. They seem great. I hate their coach. And I'm starting to hate the entire Spanish Federation of Football because I just keep hearing so many bad things. So, like, even coming into this World Cup, there was drama because pretty much what happened was 15 of the players on the women's Spanish national team sent in letters to the Spanish Federation of Football. So, like, the organization that runs all of soccer in Spain. And they were saying, like, listen, if this MFer continues to be our coach, we're not playing. Like, he is emotionally abusive. He is a bad coach. He is bringing down team morale. He's just not good. And I'm putting it in a big generalization. But that's sort of the vibe. And the Spanish Federation was like, nope, we're going to stand by this guy. We're going to keep supporting him. And if you want to come back to the team, you can apologize to him. And then you can come back on the team. And only 3 players, I don't even know which ones, but only 3 players ended up back on the team. So this Spanish team was like so many new people who have never played in a World Cup before. And it truly was like a testament to the way that Spain brings up footballers from such a young age and like puts a lot of money and support into it as an organization and as a sport. But then also obviously has little support when it comes to the women's team, as shown by all of this. And then there was a really insane situation that happened during the fucking Golden Award ceremonies when the president of the Spanish Federation, I don't even know what his name is, bald. And Jenny Hermosa is going up, and you know, like normally you go up, you get your award or anything or whatever, and you kind of like give a little handshake or maybe a hug to this individual or whatever. And he kind of grabs her on both sides of her face and plants a kiss right on her lips, which, as far as I'm concerned, is assault.
Yeah, it's gross.
That's insane. And he tried to pass it off as affection and everything, and I just want to point people to Andrew Cuomo. I don't care what ethnicity you are. In this day and age, planting a kiss on somebody without their consent is pretty fucked up. Plain and simple. And it was really uncomfortable and unsettling to watch.
Yeah, it wasn't like your aunt who like kisses you on the cheek and you're like, It was like creepy. Like,
yeah, a grown man who's not family.
Yeah.
And didn't do it to every player. Did it to that one player.
Yeah,
so it's
which
just
is like
very skeezy.
Yeah,
disgusting. So disgusting. So just a quick shout out to all of the
we support the Spanish players, but not
the people who actually won the World Cup.
The other people.
You guys
the men.
are fantastic. But your coach and the head of the federation can go suck eggs for all I care. But I just thought that was crazy.
Yeah, it was
insane.
crazy.
And then like FIFA being absolutely disgusting, like we all knew. It's so annoying because it's like,
I
really want to I wish that some other competitor would come out of the woodworks and just be like, actually, we're going to start doing Women's World Cups and we're going to pay them the same fucking price. I don't know if you saw anything on that. He like did a press conference and he was like, women, like, you guys can do this. You guys can be equal as men. You just have to convince us. And it was like, what? Like, I listened to the head of FIFA.
Goodbye.
Literally explaining why women, like, the people who win World Cups get, like, prize money.
Yeah.
And the men get significantly more prize money than the women.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for it. It doesn't make any sense. It is the same as women in America getting paid less. But let's move on. Let's talk about some other things.
Yeah.
So I found a fun internet question. I need 2 names for this.
Okay.
2 femme presenting names.
Joanne.
Uh-huh.
And
Joanne
and Elaine.
Joanne and Elaine. Those are easy to say back to back. So Joanne writes in, am I the asshole for telling a friend their service dog can't stay at my house? So that's the subject. Let's get into it. Joanne says, a few weeks ago, a friend, Elaine, 27 years old, from high school reached out to me. She wanted to stay at my house while on tour for a concert. I honestly hadn't thought about this person in a while. We used to be friends, but went to different colleges and just didn't really keep in touch. I was surprised, but said okay. She said they were in town for a concert. In the lead up, she never mentioned a dog. So when she showed up, she had a dog. Now, I'm not a dog person at all. Don't own any pets. They aren't my jam. I told her she couldn't stay with me as I don't allow animals in my house. Well, she dropped the service dog info on me and told me she didn't have anywhere else to go. I don't care what it is for. It's not staying in my house. I was just kind of stunned at everything going on. I told her I don't want dog hair in my house and generally don't want it around. I told her I was doing you a favor, but now you're pushing it. She starts arguing with me and the dog isn't a pet. I told her I don't care. I don't want it in my house. I closed the door. She bangs on my door and calls me an asshole. After a few minutes, she leaves. She put me on blast on social media, and now I'm getting some feedback on how I'm the asshole from people online. I thought it was rude as fuck to show up with a dog, even a service dog.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of things.
I thought this was another interesting one where it's not super cut and dry.
First of all, isn't that a good mug?
It's a great mug.
Yeah. Shout out my Melody. It's a great mug. Okay. The first person is the one who started off wrong by messaging someone that you don't talk to use them for their home instead of getting a hotel.
Yep.
If it was a good friend, yeah, but it's someone you lost touch with and haven't talked to, no, you're an asshole.
Insane.
Yeah. It's like people used to message me all the time when I was in Orlando, like, can you get me into the park for free? Or can I come to your house? Because it's right by the parks. Like,
yeah.
No. And so that's an issue. Also, it's an issue that, well, the lady who didn't want the dog in her house, there are no rules when it's someone's personal home where service animals have to be allowed.
Yeah.
Like,
this isn't a business.
It's not a business. Like, if it was a business, I'd be like, yeah, the business is an asshole. They didn't let her service animal
100%.
in. But it's someone's home. They have the right to be like, no. Like,
yeah, I don't want animals in my home.
Yeah. Like, I think it's a little aggressive to be like, to have Elaine be like, oh, well, this is my service animal. And her be like, I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
It's not going in my house. Like, that's a little like, okay.
The way she writes the email makes it seem like she does come across very aggressively.
Yeah.
Like, in response to this.
Which I'm never in support of coming across aggressive with situations like this.
Calm down, sweetheart.
But also, like, it's her home. It's her right to do that.
100%.
So it's kind of like.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the reason this one is, for me, pretty simple, because I'm agreeing with you. Mm-hmm. I think that the person who came and didn't tell them about a dog is an asshole. Mm-hmm. I think that's fucked up. You should have said something.
Yeah.
Even if it is a service dog.
Yeah.
And we have no details on the dog.
Right.
We have no details on what services they provide.
Yeah.
For all we know, it's like Olive.
Right.
And it's just like, you just got one of those bogus certification things just to help with apartment hunting.
Yep.
And it actually isn't really a service dog.
Right. Because,
like, I see so many conflicting things on the internet when it comes to service dogs about how, like, some people claim that service dogs, there's actually, like, no registration required and, like, you don't need any paperwork whatsoever. Have you seen that? Where people are, like, inside a store and the store's like, I need to see the dog's registration, and the person's like, they don't need registration.
Well, I know I can only speak for Disney when I worked for Disney, but I mean, I can't speak for the company, but when I worked there, we were not allowed to do that. When people had dogs, that, like, people would come with like a Yorkie in their purse and it would have no vest, no nothing. It's probably fake, but we were not allowed to be like, is that a real service dog? I need to see their registration.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that.
That's
like,
what I mean.
There's like, I think it's like HIPAA laws. Like, you can't.
Right.
So
makes sense.
People can say, like, no, like, you can't ask me for the paperwork.
It's crazy because I see videos about certain business owners just being mean and being like, you can't have that dog in here. And they're like, it's a service animal. I need to have the dog in order to be in this business. And they're like, we serve food here, so you can't have that. And it's just like, brother, your backroom staff is probably smoking weed and doing coke and, like, not wearing hairnets or washing their. I've watched enough episodes of Bar Rescue to know that Your back of the line is probably disgusting.
Yeah, and there are people who definitely like ruin it for other people, who have legitimate service dogs. But like, yeah, it's that situation is a home, so you can't.
It's a little tricky, but yeah, I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I 1,000,000% also agree with your first point. Who the hell has the audacity to hit up a person they knew in high school who they haven't even kept up with since going to different colleges and is like, hey, I'm going to be in town near you. Can I stay with you?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, pushes it to, I'm bringing a dog last minute. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, I just can't believe that. I would feel so uncomfortable asking that. I've felt when I went to California and I stayed with Allie and Lance, I felt uncomfortable asking. And it's not because I'm not close with them or low key like knew that they would say yes, just because they're like really generous, nice people. So I kind of like going into it and knew that they would ask. And they were going to the same wedding I was going to. So it was like it all kind of worked out in this weird thing. But still, I was like, are you guys sure? Like, you guys have to pick me up from the airport, drop me off at the airport, like all this stuff. Like, I feel terrible imposing on you. And then, of course, you know, they're so nice. They were like, it's fine, it's fine. But I still felt crazy. And that's someone I talk to. I talk to Allie almost every other day, if not every day, on Discord, little dumb D&D things. But, yeah, I could not imagine. I'm trying to think of people from high school who would kind of fall in this category. That'd be like me hitting up like Sam Hudak and being like, yo, in middle school, we were best friends. You signed my yearbook 15 times. Like, so I can stay with you and your family? I know you're married and you have a kid now. I can stay with you? Because there's a concert nearby. Here's the thing. There is a concert nearby and I need lodging. By the way, I have a dog.
Yeah, it's too crazy.
Insane.
Tony and Kurt went to a wedding of one of Kurt's coworkers, and Tony told me the whole time he hung out with the chief's wife and a bunch of lesbians.
I love that for Tony.
Yeah,
he says like a good
him
time.
And the lesbians get along.
They should.
Yeah.
And
I was like, that's fantastic.
They should. Tony really gets along with everybody.
Yeah.
Until they don't, and then death to them.
Yeah.
And then grudge held forever.
Which is fine.
Like an old...
old Yeller?
No, not that old yellow lab story, Raven. Why would you think I was going there?
You said old.
And it was quite the jump. But anyway. No, I was going to say like one of those old tales that you hear about, like those tales about like Greek gods and stuff like that, like mythological stories about like somebody being like, 2,000 years ago, the son of Hercules killed my father, and I held that grudge until this day, and that's why we have the winter solstice.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
And you killed my father. Prepare to die.
We love you, Mandy Patinkin.
Mandy Patinkin is so cute. I fucking love him.
He just went on a solo road trip. I saw the TikTok about it.
Oh my god, he's adorable.
And he was so excited.
About him. I watched a video of him just eating papaya and watermelon, and him just loving it.
He's so cute.
He had so much. He was eating so much fruit.
Yeah.
It was incredible. So funny. Anyway, so our topic for this episode is movies so bad that they're good. So these are movies that you love and you love to watch them and even rewatch them, show them to friends, that kind of vibe. You're
nostalgic.
You like this movie.
Yeah.
You want other people to like this movie. But no matter how much you like it, for whatever reason that you like it, you know deep in your heart, this is not a good movie.
Yeah, the acting's bad. The special effects are bad.
Something is bad.
It didn't do well at the box office.
Yeah.
But you love it. You don't care.
You love it.
Yeah.
And I think we should get into it.
Okay.
Let's have you go first this time.
Okay. Can you see my phone from where you're at?
No. I mean, I can, but it's like through these flowers. So
okay.
Like I would have to really try and read, and I don't.
Okay. My first one is The Cat in the Hat.
Jeez Louise.
With Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat. It's the live action Cat in the Hat.
Wow.
I think Dakota Fanning is the main girl. And I don't know the actor who plays the main boy, but in the movie his name is Conrad.
He was in so many things, I feel like.
Yeah.
He like had a period of time where he was just in everything.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to him. But in the movie his name is Conrad, and my and Alyssa's favorite thing in the world is the okay. God bless you, Olive.
God bless you. Oh, God bless you again. Jesus. Hold on, guys. We're having a sneezing fit over here. Olive, she's sneezing so hard she's like slamming her face into the ground. Olive, okay? Oh my God, this is unheard of.
That was a lot. I'm sorry.
That's really funny.
So me and Alyssa love this running joke that happens throughout the movie The Cat in the Hat, where the cat consistently calls Conrad the wrong name.
Okay.
And it's so funny. Like at one point he calls him like concrete and condor and concave, and it's just okay.
Olive.
Something is making Olive sneeze aggressively. Yeah, it's just so funny, and there's so many crazy adult. You're gonna have to go. There's so many crazy adult jokes, like jokes that are definitely meant for adults in this children's movie. Mm-hmm. I wish I could think of examples, but there's definitely like one scene, like they have like this hilarious looking like fat babysitter who's like old and has giant glasses, and the cat just hooks a hanger into her shirt on her back and hangs her up in the closet. Yeah. While they like have their ruckusness.
Okay. Their ruckusness.
That they do. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on.
The Cat in the Hat is a great choice because I know for a fact that it has like a weird, almost like what is it called? Like a cult classic following, where like certain people love it, and it's because of those jokes, like the certain lines.
Yes.
Like concave.
Concave
like
is just so funny.
It's definitely an interesting movie.
They have a fish named Nevins.
Nevins?
Or somebody's named Nevins.
Okay.
Oh my God. And then Jack from
Will and Grace.
Will and Grace is the boss, and his last name is Humberflube, and he's like a huge germaphobe. And me and Charlene at work, we always joke all the time about the scene where he goes, "You're fired." We always say that. It's so funny. Oh my God. Like this scene where the cat goes, "All right, Nevins, time to die," and he's holding a garden hoe, and Conrad goes, "Cat, you scared him away," and the cat goes, "Dirty hoe." I'm sorry, baby. I love you.
Jesus. Oh my gosh.
It's just so funny. This is
crazy.
Like,
that is
it's
too
just
much.
This article literally says it's bonkers. Like, it literally is bonkers.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly
like this says
weird
he says
nostalgia.
"I'm the super fundiferous feline who's here to make sure your meline, keyline, turpentine." I got nothing. I'm not good at rhyming. Like, it's just hilarious. There's thing 1 and thing 2. Thing 2 would like to clarify that just because he wears the number 2 does not imply that he is in any way inferior to thing 1. He says that you may feel free to call him thing A if you like. He will also accept super thing, thing king, kid dynamite, chocolate thunder, or Ben. It's so good. God. It's like, it's funny, it's cute, it's like, I don't know, it's cheesy, but it's like, the jokes are just so funny. Like, it's great. It really is like an 11 out of 10 movie. Every time he calls Conrad the wrong name, it makes watching the movie worth it.
That's really funny.
Yeah, have you seen it before?
It's a good
start
one.
to finish?
Jeez, I don't know if I've ever seen it start to finish.
They ride the babysitter down a slide. Like a toboggan. They sit on her and they ride her down the slide. Like, So funny. Alec Baldwin is the mean stepfather.
Oh my god.
The lady that Daddy loves, who was married to John Travolta, who died of cancer, is the mom. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Who?
The lady who was married to John Travolta, who died of cancer.
Olivia Newton-John?
No, they weren't married in real life.
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I don't follow John Travolta. Although, when I was looking up movies that are so bad that they're good, John Travolta is on a bunch of them. From the Saturday Night Fever sequel, I don't know, Riverdance or some shit. I don't know what it's called.
I have a soft spot for John Travolta.
Oh, he is in so many of the movies so bad they're good, apparently. Like, there's one that's like, it's like, I think it's like Battlestar Galactica, but I have no idea. Battleship Earth or something. I don't know what it's called. But he has like dreadlocks and is an alien and looks freaking wild in that movie.
Kelly Preston is her name.
Okay.
Yes, she is the mom. Yeah, that's my number 5. It's an excellent film.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
love
good one.
Mike Myers.
That's a good one. That's
I have a soft spot for him too.
One. Okay. My number 5 is maybe the only one on my list that you are going to be like, I've never heard of that movie.
Okay.
My number 5 is Pootie Tang.
The only reason I've heard of this is because it was on a lot of lists of terrible movies that people love.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Pootie Tang is...
It's not a good name. I wouldn't like to say it out loud.
An interesting movie. Well, it just... how can I even describe this movie, honestly? It came out in 2001. It is obviously a comedy movie. I'm just finding out now via the Wikipedia that it was directed and written by Louis C.K. and I honestly hate that so much. I hate that so much. Finding this out in real time is really is a downer. JoJo, please. And I just hate Louis C.K.
What's
He's
the movie
funny.
about?
His stand-up used to always make me laugh, but it's like a movie that I really just wanted to be not Louis C.K. directing it and writing it. God, now it's put this whole movie into a different light for me.
What's the movie?
Oh, I'm having a whole thing. Okay. So, it's adapted from a comedy sketch that was actually on the Chris Rock show.
Okay.
And it's this character, Pootie Tang. And he's supposed to be like a satire of a stereotyped action hero that appeared in old... this is a phrase that isn't normally in my vernacular, but I'm going to try and do it. Blaxploitation.
Okay.
Films, which is just a subgenre of films in the United States that really just exploit black people and like the stereotypes of black people and stuff like that.
Okay. This is a movie you like?
Raven, I'm now hating every moment the fact that we're recording this and it's live and everyone's knowing that I love Pootie Tang. Pootie Tang made me laugh as a kid. It was just a funny, stupid movie where you had this character who's just really intense and everything about it. I mean, the fact that it first appeared on the Chris Rock show and was hopefully written by Chris Rock and maybe a team of other
black people
to be like a satire and like
right.
this sort of like, we're going to make it funny because it's comedy, but also like we're over exaggerating and that's why it's satire and all this stuff. But
right.
Anyway, so it features Pootie Tang, and he is like this action star, like in the movie itself, like he is playing an action star, and it just goes through his little adventures and different things like that, and he's born in a small town, portrayed as a ladies' man. He's too cool for words, even as a young child. His father is killed by a gorilla.
Oh my god.
And just before his dad's death, he inherits his dad's belt and is told that as long as he has right on his side, he can whoop anyone's ass with just that belt. And he uses it to fight crime and all different kinds of stuff. And it just had a lot of silly, funny scenes in it. There were funny little quotes and stuff like that. And literally finding out that Louis C.K. directed and wrote this movie just makes me so sad. The idea that a white person wrote this makes me like so sad. Yeah. You have to put on like subtitles.
Maybe Chris Rock worked on it.
He did because he is in the movie and everything too. But yeah, all I remember from this movie, and then we're just gonna move on, please. Okay. For the love of God. I just remember there being a scene where one of the like henchmen of the bad guy is talking to Pootie Tang and says something to the effect of, "Well, if you're feeling froggy, then leap." And I love that, and I still say that to this day. I say it in my D&D games when I'm like playing as a NPC villain kind of thing. If you're feeling froggy, then leap. And I just love that. But anyway, yeah.
I like that.
Thanks.
I'm sorry that Louis C.K. wrote that.
I cannot believe that. See, do your research, folks. It was 2001. It was a different time, sort of, but Jesus. Okay, moving on. Right. What's your number 4 so that I can talk about my other ones that are
not written by Louis C.K.?
I swear to God, if they are, I will die. I will die.
Okay, my number 4 is
anything to do. If you put a single finger on any of these movies, I'll freak out.
My number 4 is A Hard Right Turn.
Oh.
My Scene Masquerade Madness.
I don't...
Do you remember the My Scene dolls?
A little bit, yeah.
So there were My Scene dolls, which tried to compete with Bratz and Barbie, but weren't as successful, but were still successful. I loved them.
Yeah.
And they made a series of movies and animated movies, and I loved them so much. And there was one that was my favorite that I had on DVD that I watched all the time called My Scene Masquerade Madness. And it was just low-key, I think the main girl's name is Barbie.
That's wild.
Is it? No. Let me look it up.
It's called My Scene Masquerade
Madness.
We're
not experts here.
We love an alliteration. I just want to apologize for liking Pootie Tang, if I can, one more time while Raven looks this up, and let you know that the more I was about to talk about it, and I was reading through a page of quotes from that movie and feeling deeply, as I should, feeling deeply uncomfortable saying any of them aloud. Especially knowing that Louis C.K. wrote them, probably, or had a hand in writing them. Cannot do it. Can't bring myself to do it. No thank you.
We forgive you.
Did you find out if Barbie is in?
I think she is.
All right, we'll keep
the three original dolls: Barbie, Madison, and Chelsea.
Wow, what a bold move.
But
like, what?
There's also Noli.
Ruth Handler, you're the only one who has a daughter named Barbara?
Yep. Noli, Delancey, Hudson, Kenzie, Ellis, Sutton, Kennedy. They're all very like
white girl names.
Yes.
Delancey?
Yeah.
Whoa.
But yeah, Barbie is the blonde one.
We had a girl in our high school named Danica, didn't we? Her last name was like Wolfsgruber, though.
That's a name.
Yeah, it is.
It's no Nan Bland, but it is a name.
It sounds like something in German you would say if you were like, "Oh, you're a wolf eater. You eat wolves."
Yes.
You hunt wolves and eat them.
So this will be your
or like
last name.
You know, like the oh, you were raised by wolves.
Yes.
Somebody who was raised by wolves is a und Wolfsgrube.
Yes.
Sorry.
So, My Scene Masquerade Madness is about the main My Scene characters, the dolls, and their respective boyfriends, because they all have like a matching boyfriend.
Of course.
They're in high school, and they need to do a fundraiser for something, and they do a masquerade fundraiser to do like a fashion show, and they all get dressed up in matching outfits, like the girl and the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And they're so cute. They're like butterflies and fairies and like rock star. and they each have a matching pet that's like dressed up with them because the fundraiser I think is for like the animal shelter.
Okay.
And there's like a cute random storyline where one of the girls like pretends to be good at math but is failing math, and then the other girl is like, well, I'm a math tutor, you should have asked me to be your math tutor. She's like, I was embarrassed. She's like, don't be embarrassed, I'll help you. And it's so cute, and it's just like the cheesiest, cutest doll movie
Yeah.
that I recommend for everyone because it's so good. It's got like early 2000s like bebop music, like and it's just phenomenal. I wish I still had it on DVD, and I had a DVD player and a TV.
Yeah.
I have none of those things, but it is incredible.
It sounds
Yeah. There's other movies that
fun.
My Scene made. I haven't seen any of them. I've only seen this one, and it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Wow, My Scene Masquerade Madness. So is that like one particular one that you really loved, or?
Yes. Oh, is there one particular doll?
No. Because I imagine that this was just one of the My Scene movies.
Yes.
And this is just one that you happen to really like?
Yes.
Okay.
I love the idea of a masquerade. I've always wanted to go to one.
Ooh, Masquerade Ball. I did it in my D&D game, and they had a lot of fun picking out their masks, sending me so many like screenshots of just like Venetian masks and being like, can my character wear this?
Yeah.
And it's so funny in D&D where like sometimes you get questions where you actually have to think about it, where they're like, so can my character like, I don't know, fly and then pick up a bad guy and then drop them from a great height? And you have to be like, well, your character's not that strong, and it depends on how heavy the person you're picking up is, and blah blah blah, and this and that and whatever. And then other times they ask questions like, can my frog have a cape? Can my pet frog have a cape? And those questions are always yes, because it's always just like, yeah, that's dope, that's hilarious. Of course your frog can have a cape.
Can my frog be named Lorleen?
Lorleen. Oh, dang, Lorleen's out again. She's going to bite the heads off the chickens. It's a reference to a TikTok that Raven and I cackle over. Also, we have gotten a little bit of feedback about Raven and I doing a reaction video for our YouTube. Let us know. It's picking up steam. What should we react to? Do you guys want to send us videos, whether they're YouTube videos or TikToks, and we'll watch them live? And by live, I mean like we'll watch them in real time, but we're going to record it. And kind of go from there. But so send us an email. We have an email, hessyandmaven@gmail.com. Also, give our podcast 5 stars and subscribe to our YouTube, Hessy and Maven. We also have a TikTok and an Instagram. Those are 2 great places to stay in touch. Okay, moving on to my number 4. Now, this one I feel good about. I mean, it definitely has like military propaganda vibes going on, but other than that, I love this movie. It is so stupid. Fully recognize that it didn't get great reviews. I don't know how well it did in box office necessarily, but literally doesn't matter. I love this movie so much. Okay. My number 4 is Battleship.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
I've definitely heard of it. I feel like Daddy's definitely watched it.
Probably.
Yeah.
So it's based on the game Battleship, and it's just Battleship, the battle for Earth begins at sea.
Wow.
May 2012.
2012 is when that movie came out?
Yeah.
Wow.
So a fleet of ships is forced to do battle with an armada of unknown origins in order to discover and thwart their destructive goals. So pretty much what's going on is Japan and America are having like a military practice kind of thing, you know, how they do stuff like that. And they're doing it at sea with like their battleships, like the gigantic warship kind of vibes, you know what I mean? Like those like air carrier, whatever they're called. You could tell that we know a ton about the military. And it has Alexander Skarsgård in it.
Love.
It says Liam Neeson here. I imagine he must be the smallest role in the entire universe because I barely remember him.
There's no way Liam Neeson would miss out on a movie like Battleship.
I know, right? It's got Taylor Kitsch.
It sounds familiar.
If you want to lean over a little bit, this guy. That's him. And
doesn't look familiar.
That's fine.
Okay.
And he was in that movie John Carter. And he was in the second season of True Detective. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Also, why can't actors just take photos like... Why does it have to be...
I don't know,
because man. I can't even see your face.
It's IMDb. I don't even know if he controls that. If he's like, hey, IMDb, put my cool picture up where I look cool and the wind's blowing the small amount of hair.
He definitely did.
But I just love it so much. So they're doing this military practice, and then boom, these things come in from probably outer space or maybe like below the sea. I forget. But they're straight up aliens. And they have like way better technology, and they start blowing up all these different ships. And Alexander Skarsgård is the brother of the main character, and he dies. And then Taylor Kitsch has to work together with, I want to say, is it LL Cool J or is it somebody else that kind of has LL Cool J vibes? But Rihanna is in it also, and it was one of Rihanna's first like acting debuts.
Okay.
She has, I don't know what she was doing in her personal life at that time, like in terms of her own career, but she had pretty short hair, kind of like a pixie cut, and wore a hat, like one of those kind of like military-ish, but kind of like a baseball hat. And I don't think you ever see her without the hat. Like there are parts where she dives into the water. She's like, you know, getting jostled around as the ship is making quick turns and like getting blown up and all this crazy stuff.
With the hat?
I don't think she ever doesn't have the hat. Like it is unreal.
Maybe she hated her hair.
It just seems crazy to me. I mean, like clearly they spent most of their budget on special effects because they are pretty good and there's a lot of explosions and like gigantic things going down and stuff like that. But yeah, unreal. Also, Alexander Skarsgård's character's name is Commander Stone Hopper.
Wow.
And then his brother is Lieutenant Alex Hopper. And
wow.
Now I remember where Liam Neeson comes in. He's like their boss, but also like the dad of the girl that the younger Taylor Kitsch character likes.
Okay.
And like when he first meets her, she wants a burrito really badly, and this is like, it's like set in the past a little bit, and she really wants a burrito, and he's like drunk at the bar, and he's like, I'll get you a burrito. I'll get you a burrito so fast. And he runs outside and he goes across the street to a gas station or something, and they just close, and he's like, no, I need a burrito. It's for a girl.
Oh my God.
I need a burrito. And they're like, sorry, we're closed. So then he breaks in and like does the thing where like he is going through like the ducts up like above the ceiling and then breaks through and just gets hurt, and it was really funny.
Oh my God.
But it's just such a good movie. It's just like action and like intense and like good little ship to ship fight scenes, and then eventually it finally gets to the point where like the game Battleship makes itself known, and it just feels so good. It's like when they say the title of the movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like obviously with a movie called Battleship and they're featuring a lot of battleships, that word comes up a ton. So that's not exciting. But man, the part where they're like, it's something about their like not GPS systems, but like the targeting systems that ships use to like target another ship and like aim the cannons towards it. Because of like how intense technology is. Instead, they have to like resort to like, they're like AB-12, and they're like firing it off, and they're like X, that was a miss. C-12, and they're like, that was a hit, and it was just like, it's so funny. And then there's a scene at the very end. This is the last thing I'll say about it. There's a scene at the very end where again all of the new battleships have been sunk and are destroyed. So luckily they're in like Hawaii, I think, and they just so happen to be right next to a like You know how sometimes old ships get turned into like museums, kind of? It was kind of like one of those things. It was like an old like destroyer, like, I don't know, USS Isengard. I don't fucking know. Isengard is a place in Lord of the Rings. But you know what I mean?
Perfect.
Like one of those destroyer ships or whatever, and like they get on board it and they're like checking it out and they're like, hey, this will run, this will work. And they're like, but we don't really know how to drive this thing. Like, we're used to the new stuff. Like, we've never done this. They start playing Raven. It's so good. They start playing Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Oh my God.
Right? Thunder. Na, 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 thunder. Mm-hmm. As a bunch of World War II veterans start slowly walking onto the deck of the ship. Oh my God. Like old ass men. Mm-hmm. Walking onto the ship. We'll help you do it. And literally there's a battle scene where like 70, 80-year-old men are helping this young team, including Rihanna, fight aliens.
This is a fever dream.
It is amazing.
Oh my God.
I love it so much. Wow. Oh my God. It's so good.
That's
it's
a great
so
pick.
good. Yeah. I love it so much.
Good job.
Thank you.
Are you ready for my number 3?
I can't wait for your number 3.
My number 3 is Mortal Instruments, City of Bones. It's fantastic. It's based on a book by Cassandra Clare.
It's a series, right?
Yes,
book, at least.
Never-ending series. She's made about 10,000 books in the series. And I had to look her up before while you were talking because I was so confident that her name was Clarissa Clare. But
Clarissa Clare.
It's Cassandra Clare. It's Cassandra Clare. Yeah, she's made about 10,000 books in the Mortal Instruments series. But it's amazing. It's got, as Cinema Joe would say, a stacked cast. Cersei Lannister is the mom.
Okay. I love that we have gotten to a point where you don't even mention actors' names.
No, yeah.
We're just like Cersei Lannister.
Yeah, I don't know her.
And then Captain Marvel was in the room.
Who's the guy who wrote the sad Tarzan song?
Phil Collins.
Lily Collins is the main character.
Whoa.
It's his daughter. Phil Collins is her dad. So she is the main character.
Okay, that's a little bit better. But still, I was like, what an interesting way your brain works.
Lily Collins is the main character. Her best friend is the long-haired weird one from Umbrella Academy.
Long-haired weird one from Umbrella Academy.
The kooky one.
Oh, yes.
He's the best friend.
I love him. Yeah.
The sad...
Klaus.
The sad from Sweeney Todd who sings Joanna.
Oh, yeah.
He's the like boyfriend.
Okay.
The love interest. And it's just so good. There's another guy who's in there that's famous, and I can't think of his name. But they're like there's demons and vampires and werewolves and shadow hunters, which are like demon hunters, and
very cool.
The music is good. There's a Demi Lovato song. You really root for them to be together. There's like a love triangle. It's so good. There's a warlock who's gay. Like, it's great.
Yeah, say no more.
He comes up to them and he's like,
there's a warlock that's gay.
Yeah, he comes up to them and he's like, I didn't let you guys into my party, but because they sneak into his party, and he's like, but I'll let you stay because of the cute one. And everyone is like, oh, thank you so much. And he's like, I wasn't talking about any of you. I was talking about him with the eyes. And he like hits on the one guy and you're like, okay. And it's cute. And it's just like a really teen boppy movie, but I put it on all the time. I love having it on in the background. The acting is not great. It's not stellar. Cassandra Clare literally ruined that whole series by throwing in a plot line that is, we're shipping them, we want them to be together. Oh, they might be brother and sister.
Oh,
not sure. maybe. And then I'm pretty sure they're not, but for a long time you think they might be. The damage was done, and it's weird and cringy, and everyone was devastated. They throw it in the movie, and at the end of the movie, he's like, I know in my heart that we're not siblings. And she's like, okay, but we can't be together because what if we are? Like, and
Whoa.
it's so weird. But apart from that weird plot line, the movie is fantastic. They never made any other of the books into movies. It halted there because the movie did not do well.
Yeah, I hate that.
ABC Family did make a series. Sorry, I keep thinking I hear Olive. ABC Family did make a series of the same name. Actually, I think it might be called Shadowhunters. I don't know. But about the same book with all the same characters that they did make a couple seasons of, I think. But I never watched that one because in my head, all the characters are set as actors.
It's so hard to undo, like, headcanon.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cheesy teen movie, but I adore it. It's so good.
It has a lot of those vibes.
Yeah.
Of, like, that era of, like, YA fiction.
Yes.
Of just, like, all the things.
Yep. It's fantastic.
The only thing I think it might be missing is, like, the way that Divergence has, like, the factions. That's, like, a big YA thing of, like...
It fits into...
Do you belong to Destiny? The Destiny group? Because I'm part of the Cellular group. And you're like, wow.
Yeah. It fits very much
into...
BuzzFeed
quiz where I figure out which group I'm from.
Yes. It fits very much into Divergent, into...
Maze Runner?
Maze Runner, into...
Finger guns?
No, Bow and Arrow.
Oh, Hunger Games.
Thank you, Hunger Games. That type of vibe. Like teens doing crazy supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
That's a good vibe.
Yeah.
I've only seen bits and pieces that you've shown, and then you changed it, I think.
Yeah. I don't like the part. There's a lot of... I do this with a lot of movies where I like the whole movie up until, like, essentially, like, the climax of the plot where it gets stressful, and then I turn it off.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's what
that
Dad does with Law Abiding Citizen. He's like, he loves when Gerard Butler is kicking butt, and then the second he gets to a certain part, and he's like, well, now it's stupid.
I do that too.
Now it's stupid. So I just watched the first hour, and then I shut it off. And I'm like, you guys are psychopaths. That's wild.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
That's a good number 3. Mm-hmm. Okay. My number 3 is one that could very well be on your list. It's definitely a movie you've seen. I'm curious to see how you feel about this particular movie. Came out in 2009, the year that you graduated high school, and the year I graduated high school, and you
were in 9th grade.
You graduated to 9th grade. You graduated middle school.
Yep.
Well, this is a movie called Push.
Okay.
Do you know it? You know Push? We watched it. I think we might have seen it in theaters.
No.
Push? Raven loves the movie Push because if you ask her, she loves Chris Evans. She loves everything to do with Chris Evans. And Chris Evans stars in Push. And she also loves Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, I've seen this.
And
girl with dark eyebrows.
Camilla Bell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's got eyebrows for sure.
I do remember this movie. This is a great movie.
It is a great movie. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, the movie Push. Now, the way this works is two young Americans... Here's like the little tagline. Mm-hmm. 2 young Americans with special abilities must race to find a girl in Hong Kong before a shadowy government organization called Division does. It is so fun. I love it. I really do love this movie so much. It's a great movie. So just like, it takes place in Hong Kong. like the entire movie. They have
great vibes.
Great like chase scenes and fight
Yeah.
scenes and stuff, and like really dynamic environments. Like there's a whole chase scene that goes through a like Chinese fish market kind of thing. That's so fun. There is all different kinds of supernatural powers and stuff like that. Now this movie didn't do great. Okay. The budget was $38 million. It made $48.9 million. So not good. Like you should be at least doubling. It's not good. But I love this movie so much. It just has so many cheesy little things where they try and take so much backstory and try and cram it into this like 111 minutes. So it's less than 2 hours, and it's just got so much backstory with flashbacks and all different kinds of stuff. And then the funny thing is they do that thing where all of the what are they called? There's like different types of superpowers essentially, right? Like some of them are like telekinesis, and some of them can like see into the future. Some people have like sensory skills where they can like find people. Then you have somebody who can make you like, what is it called? Forget things. Like they can wipe your memory. Remember he visits the guy on the boat?
Yeah. Yes.
Who has the really long nails and like makes him forget his memory. Now the funny thing is they decided to give all of the different powers, the different people with powers, different names. So you have like a pusher is like what Chris Evans is, because he is telekinesis, so he can push and pull things with his mind. So he's called a pusher. And then there's watchers, like what Dakota Fanning is. And then you have bleeders. There's stitchers, shifters, shadow, wipers.
But like eyebrows is like something special, right?
Yeah, she's like from his past. Like it's like this whole thing where it's like he has to try and find this girl because of something. I can't remember all the specifics. But yeah, he's trying to track down Kira. Yeah. And it has some of the silliest little scenes ever, and like some of the most like complex planning, because they're like, oh, they're like, there's bad guys who can literally like watch us. So we have to do all these crazy things, and spoilers, Chris Evans like wipes his own memory and writes himself a series of notes and stuff, and that's how he's able to trick the telepath or whatever, person who can read minds, the clairvoyant. And man, it's just fun. I still remember the scene in it's like a tea house or something like that, or like a little restaurant where Chris Evans walks in and he has the two guns floating behind him, and like they go up and go onto the ceiling. And there's a lot of this movie that's pretty good, but man, those guns, it really looks like somebody's just dangling them on a string, because like the guns are like, yeah. Like it just looks, it's goofy. It looks terrible. Yeah. But it's still like, it's a fun movie, and it was just cool. I mean, anything with superpowers is always dope. But yeah, it just like is on that list of movies that I fully recognize. Like some people aren't gonna like the story, they're not gonna like the acting of certain characters. Like Dakota Fanning's just a kid, so it's like I understand if it's not your bag. Yeah. But like the funny things she has to say. Fun. But it's so good. And then you have I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Jamon Hansu. This guy, he is an amazing actor who's in so many amazing things. He was in Gladiator. He was in Blood Diamond. He's always incredible. But his first name starts DJI.
He's a villain in this, Push, right?
Yeah, in this he's a villain.
He's a good villain.
He's really good because he's really intense. But it was I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. It was a great movie. But yeah,
that's a movie that sits in the recesses of my mind until someone brings it up.
Exactly.
So
okay. What's your number two?
This is the only comedy movie on my list that's like straight comedy. Well, Cat in the Hat, I guess, is comedy, but it also has sad moments. Grown Ups.
Oh.
Yeah. I knew you would react like that. It's not my usual type of movie. I don't really lean into crude comedy movies.
Yeah.
I hate anything that has Will Ferrell. I'm sure he's a lovely human. I hate everything that he's in. Grown Ups, I love.
I cannot picture you watching an Adam Sandler, David Spade, Kevin James movie.
I love it. It's so funny.
That's...
I do love Adam Sandler. I have a soft spot for him.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the movie Cinema Joe recommended that came out like more recently, where he is like a basketball coach or an NBA coach, and he recruits like somebody. He said it was really good. I
know what you're talking about. I just hate basketball so much that I can't. No, that's fair.
But
I still need to see Uncut Gems though.
Oh, I don't want to see that. But Grown Ups is just so funny. It's so funny. I love the scenes with I don't like him as a human, but Rob Schneider in the movie where he dates a weird old lady, and I like the scenes with Kevin James and his wife and their kids, and I love that not Selma Hayek. Is it Selma Hayek?
Yeah.
Is the wife of Adam Sandler. And their kids and their dynamic, and they all make fun of Rob Schneider for his weird voice, and it is just so stupid. It's like one of those movies I can watch where I can completely turn my brain off and just laugh, and there's no seriousness, there's no
it is good
stress. It's like,
I wonder how they wrote that movie. Like, who's writing the dialogue? Are they, because they're all friends, they're all pretty comedic, if not straight up comedians. Like Adam Sandler and Chris Rock have like stand up experience.
Chris Rock's so funny.
So does David Spade. So they all have stand up experience.
Yeah.
I wonder who's writing lines and stuff like that, because I'm just curious. But like, yeah, because there are parts of that movie that are very funny. I've seen lots of clips.
Yeah.
Some of it for me is like a level of cheesy that it hits on a not a good level, whereas like Napoleon Dynamite is cheesy and it didn't age great, but I love it.
Yeah.
And then you have like Kevin James doing his weird burp fart sneeze thing.
Okay. Yeah.
That is garbage.
There
that
are
is so
stupid
dumb.
parts for sure. It's a stupid movie. It's
but like,
it's like people who are like, my favorite movie is Talladega Nights. Like, that's like the vibe kind of.
Yeah.
But it's like the one stupid comedy movie that I just think is hilarious. Like, yeah, I think it's so funny.
It came out with the chocolate wasted.
Yes.
I want to get chocolate wasted.
Yeah.
That part was hilarious.
I love the scene. There are cute parts too. Like, I love the scene where they're all the kids are like trying to figure out what to do because they're in like a cabin, I guess, like at a camp where there's like no internet and video games and stuff, and the one kid shows them how to do like string cup.
Yes. And
they do it like Adam Sandler like helps them do it around the whole house, so they're in all different rooms and they can talk to each other with string cup.
Yeah.
And it's cute. And
we should experiment that, because does that work?
I have no clue, but it's cute, and they have a good time, and I love the scenes where Chris Rock is mean to his mother-in-law, and he calls her like the big toe because she has like fungus on her big toe. It's just so funny.
Wow.
It's so funny.
Wow, Raven.
I think he's married to Maya Angelou.
Who is married to Maya Angelou? Maya Rudolph. Unreal that you just confused Maya Rudolph, star of Bridesmaids, who shits in a wedding dress in the middle of the street, with the most amazing poet and activist for the civil rights movement, Maya Angelou. How
Listen,
dare you?
I'm starving and confused. He's married to Maya Rudolph. The movie is excellent. Please watch it.
Okay.
Give it a chance. Go ahead.
All right. So that was your number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now my number 2 is one that I saw in theaters 3 times at least with my homie, Matt Delapetro. And we wanted to be in the movie. We wanted to be in the next movie if possible. We wanted to learn all the moves. My number 2 is You Got Served.
Wow.
Are you surprised?
I'm trying to think about what the movie's about.
Oh, here, let me give you the plot right now. Okay. Elgin and David are best friends and members of a street dancing group.
Yeah.
Who pick up some money and with bettings. The two are also drug dealers. David falls in love with Leah, Elgin's sister, but his friend doesn't approve, and at the same time, he's robbed this person. Whoever runs moviequotes.com is struggling. I'm sorry, it just grammatically doesn't make sense, and my brain is farting. But his friend doesn't approve, and at the same time, he's robbed the money he has to return to the boss. A challenge against a group of strong white guys is the opportunity to scrape together the needed nest egg. The prize is $50,000. That's all it says. Ridiculous. Yeah, it's like a hip hop dance battle movie, pretty much.
So
and
funny.
It stars Omarion from
Classic.
B2K and then eventually his solo career. Man, his song Icebox. Oof.
I'd have to hear it.
It's so good.
I do remember him.
And then Marquise Houston.
Okay.
Who was the other guy? So that's Elgin and David. And then it also stars a bunch of what was the
stacked cast?
Stacked cast. Yeah. Jennifer Freeman, J-Bug, Lil Fizz, Raz B, Marty Dew, Jerome Jones. I could go on. Tanae McCall Short. These are real names.
Okay.
And Malcolm David Kelly.
Okay.
It is
I really thought Adam Sandler was in this movie.
Adam Sandler?
What's the movie I'm thinking of?
Grown Ups, probably. Get the hell out of here.
You and Mommy liked it. I think it was maybe Football.
The Longest Yard?
Is that Adam Sandler?
He's in that, but I don't. Okay. Number one, don't like that movie.
Oh, I thought you and Mommy liked it.
No. Anyway, you're so weird. Some quotes from the movie. You're just mad because tonight you suckers got served. That's from Omarion.
Very good.
Another quote from Steve Harvey is in it. He's like the old mentor kind of character. Steve Harvey. He says, "Let me tell you something my father told me. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger." So Steve Harvey's dad in that movie invented that phrase. And then it's just, man, is it good.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Lil' Kim is in it.
I love Lil' Kim. Is Ashanti in it?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so.
I've never seen this movie.
Yeah, it's just a classic. It's so funny.
It is. I love it.
The crazy part is, like, I remember seeing it in theaters 3 times and being like, these are the best dance moves that anyone will ever dance or have ever danced. Dance as we know it has peaked. This is it. And man, when you watch it back, Raven, it is literally like the most basic shit. Like, don't get me wrong, some of it is intense.
Yeah.
Some of it is just the most everyday, anybody could do these dance moves. Like, half the TikTok trend dances are more complicated than what these people are doing.
This was
in
when?
This movie.
2009?
No, that's a different movie. 2004.
Oh, well, that's
2004.
People weren't doing TikTok dances in 2004, so it was.
No, they weren't. They were doing these fun dances that we were all doing. This website is terrible. Never go to this website, moviequotes.com. One of the quotes they put on here is just, DJ, drop it like it's hot, from Lil' Kim. Lil' Kim shows up for 30 seconds in the movie. She's not actually in the movie. First of all, she plays Little Kim, and she's a judge at the very end, and that's it. And like, because of course there's like the grand tournament at the very end, because there's the first time that they go against this group of white guys who straight up look like they're from Sum 41. Like the one guy just has like the little
spikes
in the thing, and the other guy has like the blonde like porcupine head. Yeah, like they look like they're from Simple Plan in the early 2000s. It's wild.
Yeah.
But they're like, you guys are gonna get served.
Oh my God.
And then they get out there and they're dancing, they're popping and locking, and it's so cringy. I want to watch it again so bad. We should definitely watch it.
I'm fine with
the
that.
music is fun.
Yeah.
And then it finally gets to like, they beat Omarion and whatever the first time, and then they do a rematch battle, and then like they do the really classic where they introduce they introduce a little kid named Lil Saint, and he's just this little kid who like follows them around and like idolizes them and is like, you guys are great. And then he gets killed in a drive-by.
That's horrible.
And it's so sad.
Yeah.
And all the members of B2K are in the movie, and two of the members of B2K are like, yeah, we're not, because the dance crew splits. You have Omarion's side and Marquise Houston's side, and they're like, we'll make our own dance crews. So they start doing their own dance crews, and there's a whole montage of the two of them dancing by themselves to like hip hop, but also like emo hip hop, and they're just like dancing silently to music. And it's so amazing. And then they do that thing that's really popular in hip hop culture where they, the two other members who loved Lil Saint show up to the next dance competition with like shirts that you would get at the mall that are like spray painted a giant picture of Lil Saint and has like the bubble font that just says like R.I.P. Lil Saint. And I was fucking love it. And I was like, I gotta get a shirt like that if somebody dies. As soon as somebody dies, I'm getting a shirt like that. Which is so fucked up. But yeah, that's my number 2.
Do you remember that show on MTV where it was like Dance Cruise?
Yeah.
I can't think of what it was called.
America's Next Best Dance Crew.
Oh. I did like that show, and I do very much enjoy going on TikTok and watching the videos of
because they're really
the Jabberwockies.
Good. Jabberwockies are insane.
They're my favorite because they wear masks, which I think makes it more intense.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
I like them a lot. Yeah, I like seeing the groups of like 50 girls all doing kind of the same thing in unison is so impressive.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of a guy? He's kind of he's in one of those like light up suits. I don't know if he's part of the Jabberwockies or not, because I think he was wearing a mask, but it may just be a gimmick. But and he had lasers, and then it looks like he grabs the lasers and is like twisting them around. I don't know how they do. I watched it 10 times. And I'm like, where is the light coming from?
Now I'll have to watch it.
But it's like, you know, those like just a green laser light that just kind of like moves.
Yeah.
It looks like he grabs it, and then he like a monk would do with like a bow staff, is like twirling it around, and it's moving with him, and then he like puts it back, and it goes back to like being and you're like, where's the laser coming from? Because when he's holding it, it's coming out of both sides of his hand, and when he turns his hand, it moves both sides. So it's like,
people do magic. I don't know.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But okay, what's your number 1 worst movie that's so bad that it's good?
This movie is so good. I watch it about once a year. Because it only becomes relevant around Christmas time.
Oh God, I already know what it is. Here, let me just write it in.
It's called Holiday in Handcuffs.
Yep, nailed it.
If you've never seen it, it's an ABC Family original movie, starring Sabrina the Teenage Witch,
Melissa Joan Hart,
and Mario Lopez. And Melissa Joan Hart is like a kooky artist whose family thinks that she's crazy because she doesn't have a serious boyfriend and she wants to be an artist and doesn't have like a legitimate job. And they're going to a cabin in the middle of nowhere for Christmas, and she says that she's going to bring her boyfriend home, and then the guy she's dating breaks up with her and is like, you're crazy, I'm not going to the cabin. And she's a waitress, and at the restaurant she has a complete mental breakdown because her boyfriend breaks up with her and she has no one to bring home to her family. So she takes a antique gun off the wall, like a decor gun off the wall of the restaurant.
Yeah.
And she sees Mario Lopez and she corners him and is like, you're coming with me, because she sees him and he's handsome, and she's like, I have to kidnap him. So she corners him with the fake gun, and he laughs at her and is like, what are you doing with that Civil War gun? Like, you're not kidnapping me. And she's like, no, I am. And then she like pushes him outside, and then he like turns around to try to like attack her and get her away from the gun. And he trips on ice and falls and hits his head and passes out. So she like picks up his body and puts him in the car, and she handcuffs him with like the fluffy handcuffs to the thing that you hold.
Yep.
And then he wakes up and they're in the car on the way to the cabin, and it's all about the chaos of her kidnapping this man and bringing him home. And she tells her family like, oh, this is my boyfriend. Like, when he's nervous, he plays this funny joke where he acts like I kidnapped him, but like it makes him feel like he's funny, so like go along with it. Like, ha, it's a big joke. So when he goes into the house, he's like, you don't understand. Like, this woman kidnapped me. I don't even know who she is. And they're like, good one.
Jeez.
Funny. And then no one will help him because they all think it's a big joke. And then obviously eventually, like, it's all about what happens while they're in this chaos where they're stuck in this cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Fall in love?
They fall in love.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. He's engaged to some other woman, and then that other woman is terrible, and he realizes that he loves Melissa Joan Hart, and they get together at the end. Spoiler. Wow. It's incredible. It's the funniest, cutest movie that is just so crazy that that's the plot, that she kidnaps him and then they fall in love. But I love every minute of it.
It's something. It's certainly something. That is pretty wild.
It's so good. There's a scene, you know that episode of Friends where everyone blurts out something at Thanksgiving?
Mm-hmm.
Are you lying?
I am.
Like, Ross goes, Hurricane Gloria didn't break the porch swing. Monica did.
Yeah, okay.
And then they all blurt something.
Yeah.
Well, there's a scene like that in Holiday in Handcuffs where they're all at the dinner table and the brother's like, I want to make an announcement to everyone. And the sister's like, no, actually, I have an announcement. Dad, the money you gave me for law school, I dropped out of law school and I bought a Pilates studio. And the dad, like, you see his brain, like, fizzle away. Yeah. And then the brother is like, I also have an announcement. I'm gay. And then the police stormed the dinner and they're like, this man was kidnapped. And the family's like, fuck. That's really funny. It's so good.
That's great.
Yeah, it's the best Christmas movie ever. I watch it every year. God. You need to watch it if you've never seen it. If you love romance, if you love chaos, if you love Melissa Joan Hart and Mario Lopez, you can't go wrong. It's the best. It's the best.
That's really funny.
Okay, what's your number one?
Yeah, as soon as you said holiday movie, I was like, Holiday in Handcuffs. Here it comes.
It's fantastic.
Holiday in Handcuffs.
I love it.
Okay. So, now, if you're a follower of this podcast, you know that I love Mortal Kombat. Specifically, the movies, the really bad ones. But I feel as though I've talked about them enough. I referenced them on my top 10 movies, which is actually our first and second episode that we ever did. So scroll all the way back to listen to that. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is one of my favorite movies of all time. It also could be put on this list. And I also talk about it in one of the episodes where Raven and I make each other watch movies that the other person hasn't seen. And I make Raven watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Mm-hmm. And she loved it. So I didn't want to talk about it again because I thought that's a little much about Mortal Kombat Annihilation. What else can I add to this conversation, you know? Mm-hmm. So I didn't talk about Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So I just wanted to make it known it would be the top of my list. But instead, we have an absolute classic, a movie that I became so obsessed with that I started practicing numerology almost. I was like doing all kinds of number shit. I could tell you what number any letter of the alphabet was. And I love Jim Carrey. So my number one is the number 23.
Yeah. The movie he's most well known for.
It's up there. Yeah. Yeah. So I love the number 23. I loved it. This
movie took over our lives for a while because I saw it and then was like,
what if I add up my address and my birthday and how can I get to 23? And then you start doing dumb things where like every time you get to 5, you're like, well, 23 is just 2 plus 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. Or you get to a 6 and you're like 2 times 3 is 6. There it is. Here it is again. And it's just like it starts getting insane. You're like, I got to this number, and you're like, well, 2 to the third power is 2 times 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. And you just start like kind of bending the rules a lot to get to the things you want to get to. But anyway, it stars Jim Carrey. It's like a psychological thriller kind of thing. So Walter Sparrow is his name. He's a dog catcher. Becomes obsessed with a novel that he believes was written about him, as more and more similarities between himself and his literary alter ego seem to arise. Now, I loved it. I was super into this movie. Even the weird like cut scenes where it's him as this other character, like the literary version of him or whatever, Fingerling.
Wow, I haven't seen this movie in a million years.
Neither have I. But yeah, the literary version of him is called Fingerling. And it also has Logan Lerman.
Love Logan Lerman.
Is in this. Virginia Madsen plays his wife. She does a brilliant job. Then there's the whole like, what's it called? Like the sort of, is she cheating on him or not? There's like that kind of, there's so many like weird questions. So the whole movie is about, this guy starts reading this novel that he just randomly picked out one day, like totally chance, but then is like, wait a minute, like this is like my childhood. This is like this. And then like more and more creepy things start to pop up, and it gets really crazy when even in the intro, like the credits before the movie, like the pre-roll, they do a lot of things. It'll show like Hitler's birthday, and it's like if you add up the month and the day and the year, it becomes 23. And then here's the day that Vesuvius blew up, and you add up all the day and it becomes 23, and all this stuff. And it's all this like silly numerology stuff, which is so ironic that movie was made. And I got super into numbers for a while before I was like, why am I even doing this? Like, who cares if everything comes out to 23? What does that fucking mean? It means nothing. Like, just move on with my goddamn life. It's just cool
when you're... I feel like that movie is like on TikTok when you say like POV, it's like living in paranoia. It's like a snapshot of like what it is to be paranoid.
It's you're like, a little bit, yeah. And it's like just an interesting view of Jim Carrey as an actor, and there was lots of twists and turns, and there was a lot of like, oh my god, who wrote this book, and like who did all these different things. And I remember there being just so much mystery and intrigue and like little clues and everything like that, and I just remember really thinking like, this movie is amazing. Like, I really thinking like this movie is unlike anything else. And like, even it's kind of dumb when you look back at it. The book that he's reading is by an author. So he's reading a book called The Number 23, and then he gets into it and starts getting obsessed, and then like starts getting so obsessed that like his wife is like nervous for him. And then like you find out all this like really crazy stuff, because like eventually like there's a scene with the wife being like, stop looking into this. And you're like, why do you want me to stop looking into this? Like, what do you know about
paranoid,
this? And then it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. And it then But the book that he gets, the number 23 in the movie, is written by first name Topsy, last name Kretz. And it takes him and Justin watching this movie like forever, like an embarrassing amount of time to be like, top secrets, top secrets, top secrets. Are you kidding me?
It's very good and mysterious for the 14-year-old brain.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. It's so much fun.
We should watch that movie again.
We should. It's interesting, and I'd be very curious to see it. I think he plays the saxophone. And I remember Jim Carrey having tattoos on his back, like in his alternate form or whatever, and all the different flashbacks to when he was a kid and like being really into detective novels and then like finding his neighbor murdered or something, like just all this crazy stuff. It's a wild movie with a lot of twists and turns, and some of those twists and turns have glaring signs that tell you exactly when they're coming, and young Justin missed them, like Top Secrets. I remember when they first like revealed that, like somebody was like, well, this name isn't real. Look at it, it's just Top Secrets. And me being like, genius. Oh God, they had me going. And like, it is so dumb. But yeah.
All right.
Anyway, folks.
Great movies.
Those are all great movies. So, speaking of great movies, send in your great movies. We want to hear, what movies do you think of when this type of topic comes up? Send us an email, leave us a comment under the video or under, I don't know if you can leave comments for podcasts, but leave us a 5-star rating and tell us your favorite movie that's so bad that it's good. And also follow us on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram at Hessy and Maven, because we want to hear from you. That's where we're going to be putting up funny clips and stuff like that. We're going to be doing funny things. YouTube, we're going to start maybe trying to do some extra content and stuff like reaction videos and just kind of keep the Hessy and Hessy and Maven brand going. I just had a short circuit there for a moment. We're carrying on. Raven's in her. Wrap it up. She's in her. This is towards the end of the podcast. Raven loses all semblance of being a human and is just like pure energy and brainwave function. Is just like, get me out of here. Time to poop and eat. I gotta go. But okay. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Hessy and Maven. Tune in next time where we talk about something else.
Bye. Bye.